Mr. Trump yesterday said this, addressing congressional leaders like yourself: be quiet, just please be quiet, don't talk. What is your reaction to that, and how do you have any confidence that this is a guy who's going to have respect for separation of power?
You can't make this up sometimes. I'll just say we represent a separate but equal branch of government.
Joining us now, David French, writer for the National Review, and Rick Wilson, contributor to the website Heat Street and a veteran of 4 presidential campaigns, including the Bush for President 2000 campaign. Rick Wilson, there's just, this plane is not flying any smoother than it ever was. I mean, this thing about, oh, there's going to be a new Donald Trump. Everyone has given up on that, right? I mean, outside the Trump campaign and Republican politics, everybody knows there's never going to be a new Trump.
No, there is no better version of Donald Trump. There is no presidential version of Donald Trump. The Trump plane isn't leveling out. It's flying into the ditch with the throttles firewalled. It's absolutely a train wreck, and they all know it. And the members of Congress who are having to defend him every day are they're increasingly uncomfortable. They know there's going to be a break point soon, because as his poll numbers go down, his crazy goes up.
Let's take a look at what John Kasich said this morning on Morning Joe.
Donald Trump called me. He said, you know, can you support me? I said, well, we're like 2 companies. We have different values, different visions. Kind of hard to put that together. Right. Either there's going to be dramatic change, or I can't find my way there.
David French, it seems like there are maybe plenty of Republicans out there who envy John Kasich in that he did not endorse Donald Trump. He didn't rush to do that. And so John Kasich then got to see Trump make all sorts of mistakes in the weeks since John Kasich hasn't endorsed him. And the Kasich position must be looking pretty good to some of those guys who are stuck with the endorsement.
Of course it's looking good. Look, the Republican office holders who rushed to endorse him in that tiny blip of time when he was within striking distance of Hillary Clinton, they have to be regretting that right now. What a foolish and short-sighted move. And they're good men who did this, good women who did this. But I'll tell you what, a good man and Donald Trump is like oil and water. It will not last. They will separate. And so you see the anguish with Paul Ryan. It's written all over his face. This can't last. Donald Trump is going to continue to be Donald Trump, and so long as Paul Ryan continues to be the Paul Ryan that many of us have respected for a long time, a break is going to happen here.
Rick Wilson, just as a professional Republican strategist, what would you say is the best way for Paul Ryan to handle this situation for both his future as a Speaker of the House and his future as a potential presidential candidate?
He needs to tear the Band-Aid off, and he needs to do it soon. He needs to say, look, I gave him every chance in the world. I worked with him. I counseled him. I begged him to accept good, solid advice.
But Rick,
we tried to educate him on what the conservative movement is.
Why is that good strategically for Paul Ryan? What's the benefit he gets from doing that?
Look, if he rides this train, rides this plane down into the explosion, he's going to be marked forever. There's a narrow window where they can say, wow, I really thought he would improve. I thought he would do better. I thought he would change, and he didn't. He's never going to change. He's not capable of it mentally, and so I made a wrong decision. It's better to take the hit for saying I made a wrong decision and tear the Band-Aid off and get the thing over with, than to try to be marked by this guy all the way down to the election where Trump is probably going to lose in a spectacular Mondale-esque way.
And David French, in the old days, let's just say prior to Trump, prior to 1 year ago, which seemed like distant old days, when you had a troublesome, yes, exactly. When you had a troublesome person at the top of the ticket for some people, let's say, you know, a liberal at the top of a Democratic ticket could be difficult for the Democrat running in Georgia. The idea always was, look, run as far away from the person at the top of the ticket as you have to get elected. Say as little about that person as possible. Why isn't that good enough in this situation?
Well, you know, to borrow a phrase, I mean, politicians in the past have been wrong, but to borrow P.J. O'Rourke's phrase, they've been wrong within normal parameters. Yeah. Donald Trump is wrong way outside of the normal parameters. So you have Republican office holders in the position of saying essentially this: yes, I'm aware that Donald Trump is racist. Vote for him anyway. That's an untenable position. You cannot make that position morally to the American people. That's why this is different.
Rick Wilson, thanks for joining us, and David French, welcome to the program for the first time, and thank you for joining us. Really appreciate
Thank
you
you.
both. Thank you.
Thanks, Lawrence.